So chaos erupts at counter-protest near Stop Isolation rally. While national attention was focused on the high-profile Stop Isolation protest, another demonstration was unfolding just up the road, a counter-protest that quickly descended into chaos. In today's video, we'll be taking a closer look at the violent clashes, the tense standoffs, and the arrests that followed as far-left demonstrators faced off against police. Reports from the scene detail incidents, including protesters spitting at officers, refusing to disperse, and escalating confrontations that led to multiple arrests. We'll go through the footage, break down the most intense moments, and identify the individuals who found themselves in handcuffs. But before we dive into the footage, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more coverage of events like this. Just a quick one to say we do have new One Keir t-shirts available on our website. Go to britishstand.com or check the link in the description. Now, let's take a look at what really happened. The Stand Up to Racism protest set off from St James's Street heading to Whitehall via Haymarket. Here is some footage of Stand Up to Racism protesters attacking police trying to get to people at the Unite the Kingdom protest. This was the Met Police's review of the protest. The Stand Up to Racism protest set off from St James's Street, heading to Whitehall via Haymarket. As the Stand Up to Racism protest moved along Piccadilly, flares were set off. Officers intervened quickly and a man was arrested. There have been 5 arrests so far. These include the incident where a flare was set off, an arrest near Waterloo after an officer was spat at, and 3 arrests in Whitehall after Stop the Isolation protesters entered the Stand Up to Racism rally area in breach of conditions. The Stand Up to Racism protest has finished, and the area at the top of Whitehall is now clear. There has been 1 further arrest since the last update, taking the total so far to 6. The latest arrest was for a breach of Public Order Act conditions. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. In some other news, hundreds of thousands of long-term sickness benefit claimants could see their payments slashed by up to £5,000 a year and be forced to seek work under Labour's sweeping welfare reforms. Spearheaded by Work and Pensions Secretary Liz Kendall, the shake-up marks the biggest welfare transformation in over a decade. Expected before March 26, the reforms will hit those receiving support without work requirements, with claimants suffering from mental health conditions among the hardest affected. Labour insists changes are necessary to fix a broken welfare system, with Personal Independence Payment, PIP, squarely in the crosshairs. The UK government spends £65 billion on sickness benefits, more than the £60 billion defence budget and the £20 billion police budget. An estimated 2.8 million people claim long-term sickness benefits, mainly for mental health issues and back problems. The cost of disability-related support is forecast to soar by 60% to £35 billion by 2029. A senior government source told The Times, "The Tories failed on welfare because they failed on work. Labour will introduce bold reforms to help people into jobs, protect the most vulnerable, and make benefits sustainable. Among the most controversial proposals is scrapping the Work Capability Assessment, WCA, in favour of stricter PIP-based evaluations." Chancellor Rachel Reeves is racing to finalise the reform package, aiming to avoid an emergency tax-raising budget in March. However, fierce opposition looms from the Labour left and disability rights groups, warning these cuts could push thousands into financial crisis. Kendall faces Treasury pressure to carve out billions in savings. A Department for Work and Pensions spokesperson defended the overhaul. Our proposals will ensure the benefit system is fit for purpose, fair to taxpayers, and provides the right support. We will work closely with disabled people to shape these changes. Kendall was blunt. This is our inheritance from the Conservatives. They failed on welfare because they failed on work. Record numbers are out of work due to long-term health issues. That's a disaster for them, for employers desperate to hire, and for public finances. We need bold reforms to get more people into jobs and bring the benefits bill under control. As Labour moves swiftly, battle lines are drawn. With cuts looming and work requirements tightening, millions face an uncertain future. Lastly, Labour's plan to slap inheritance tax on pensions could funnel a staggering £40 billion into Treasury coffers over the next 2 decades, far more than official estimates suggest, according to a bombshell analysis. Set to take effect in April 2027, the controversial measure will, for the first time, drag pension savings into the inheritance tax net. Pensions consultancy LCP warns the tax grab could peak at £3 billion per year, gutting nest eggs built over decades of hard work. The looming tax windfall stems from a pension transfer boom in the 2010s, triggered by pension freedoms that allowed retirees to shift their savings into more flexible funds. Britain's biggest pension firms are sounding the alarm, calling the move ludicrous and warning it will cripple retirement savings. The Treasury expects a modest £640 million in its first year, rising to £1.46 billion by 2030. But LCP's numbers tell a different story. The real tax take, they say, will skyrocket through the 2030s as retirees pass away, leaving behind pension pots now ripe for government picking. At the heart of this tax bonanza is a seismic shift in pension savings. Over 100,000 Britons transferred out of gold-plated defined benefit (DB) pensions after 2015, hoping to leave more to their families. Unlike DB schemes, which typically cap spousal inheritance at 50%, defined contribution (DC) pots can be fully passed on. But now, Labour's inheritance tax plan threatens to turn that dream into a nightmare. As the generation who transferred their pensions in the 2010s grows older, the tax take will surge. LCP predicts that £3 billion per year could be siphoned from transferred DB pensions alone, not even counting standard DC pots. The impact is already being felt. Inheritance tax revenues have soared to £6.3 billion in just 9 months, April-December 2024, a £600 million jump from the previous year. And with the new tax rules, some higher rate taxpayers could be hit with marginal tax rates of up to 90% on inherited pensions. LCP's senior consultant Tim Camfield calls it a goldmine for the government, warning, the pension transfer surge of the 2010s means millions now have substantial DC pension balances in their estates. As they pass on, the Treasury will rake in billions. But the Treasury flatly denies LCP's projections, insisting their own numbers, certified by the Office for Budget Responsibility, are accurate. A spokesman pushed back, saying, "We do not recognise these figures. Our focus remains on incentivising pensions for retirement, not wealth transfer." Labour's pension tax plan may start as a trickle, but by the 2030s it could become a multi-billion-pound flood, draining retirement savings and igniting a fierce political battle over who truly owns your pension. So, what are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments. That brings us to the end of today's video. Hit the like and subscribe button for more British content. Oh, and don't forget to get your t-shirts at britishstand.com. Link is in the description.